Hello, Scrappy Peeps. Suzanna here today for Elle Studio, and it's release day, and I'm sharing with you this New Year's layout created using the December kit and add-ons. So you can see I have used two of the digital cut files that are free to subscribers, and I am also using the New Year's themed elements that are within the kit. So I am backing the file, which looks like streamers or confetti or decorations, decor. I am going to tell you that there is no journaling on this layout because this is actually, it says goodbye 2021, hello 2022. So an event that has yet to occur. And yes, there is a photo, but I am using last year's photo as a placeholder, which also explains why there is no journaling, is because I want to use this for this year. And I'll just insert a photo in there and then put the journaling. So I am not very precise when I back these, and as you can see, I cut right into the paper, so I've just cut a little piece that I will put on the back there. I do go in after the fact, and I always use painter's tape to hold this down so that when I slide it into my page protector, I don't rip it off. And so I'm going to do the same thing at the top as I have done on the bottom. And the idea is that I'm going to scrap on an angle here. That is something that I do not frequently do, but I do like it for these celebratory sort of type events as New Year's Eve would be. I like all of the colors that are in there, and the way that this mimics that card that you can see there. So that card could be used for Christmas as well as New Year's, but I like the way that all of those star circle banners tie everything in together. I had toyed with actually turning this picture black and white, but I realized as this is not the actual photo that I'm going to use, it doesn't really matter, does it? No. So you can see that that Happy New Year card, that is in the kit itself, as well as the white card beside it. There's a lot of contrast between that black and that white. So I cut the cut files in black as well in order to provide that visual triangle of black that guides your eye through the layout. And also because of that stark contrast between the black and the white, I felt that I needed to have an equal balance in that darkness and lightness throughout the layout. And so I get that with that visual triangle and that trio there. So I used liquid adhesive to apply that. I had to be very careful to remember, see how I lifted up the 20 and the 1 to make sure that I didn't actually put adhesive onto the photo, because liquid adhesive, obviously, it does not come off as well as the dot roll adhesive. So the dot roller is permanent. However, you have less permanency, shall I say, or easier to remove without leaving traces of having done so on your paper. So this is the corresponding Hello 2022, and that becomes the title of the layout. And that does not go onto the photo quite so much, and so I didn't have to worry about how that went. I did cut the insides for these numbers. I only did 21 and 22 because again I needed that contrast of dark and light, and I liked the way that just highlighting the years, the 21 and the 22 was done with the pattern paper there. So this is new this month. These are the puffy asterisk stickers. You need 2 of these for sure. They are the absolute best. I have used them throughout my December daily. I also, this month, you'll see I'm going to use the stamps. It's the Good Times banner stamps, and there are corresponding asterisk stamps that go with that. You will not see me do that on camera, but I will also stamp some of the asterisks scattered throughout the page, again, just to add that confetti celebratory look. I regret that I didn't do it on camera, but there are a lot of things that I do off camera because you have a very different perspective when you're looking at the layout flat rather than standing over it as you are filming. So every month Elle Studio also releases some really cool labels. I thought that I would use these labels in the center of the O's to do a little bit of journaling, say something to encapsulate the year 21 and then something that I was looking forward to for 22. But I don't like the rectangle nested within the oval, especially given that this has a very boxy feel to it, the layout on that diagonal. See, it just doesn't look right. And so I abandoned that idea, but I left this in for you to see that sometimes the things that you think are going to look good when you actually execute them don't. So these are the die cuts. Typically when I create with Elle Studio, I pull everything that's color-based with my color palette together, but because I'm literally working with the rainbow of color, I wasn't sure quite how this was going to go, and I'm literally just sort of sifting through and trialing and erroring things as I go. So there's quite a bit of white space down on that bottom right-hand corner, and I want to put a little bit of something. So I have punched out that die cut that says it's going to be a good year. At the top, I used one of the vellum stickers, the wintertime vellum stickers. It says countdown 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I thought that was perfect for the New Year's layout. And I am going to use one of the labels as well as that phrase that says it's going to be a good year down at the bottom right. But I'm still messing around with that cluster and deciding what exactly it is that I want to be there. I don't want a lot of depth, a lot of dark contrast, because I've already got that visual triangle that's up in the body of the layout. And so I just want something subtle in this bottom cluster here. I thought maybe I might cut a banner of colored paper, but then realized that that was going to add more contrast than what I wanted. So this is the Good Times banner stamp, and it works perfectly with the metal dies, the banner metal dies. However, I am going to fussy cut it largely because I was just too lazy. It's easy to cut a straight line, and I was too lazy to get my die cut machine out. Purely sheer laziness on my part. And so I am going to use those. I always stamp off two. Make sure that you prime your stamps. This is the first time that I'm using the stamp, so you can see that I run them across my skin. I also have an eraser that I sometimes will brush against them if I haven't used them previously. So that stamp says celebrate. I want to incorporate a little bit of pink. There's some pink in the banners. So I want to incorporate just a subtle amount of pink into that. That pink that I used was too dark, and so I'm going to go with a Distress Oxide and stamp that in the top right above the countdown 3, 2, 1. So just all phrases that relate to New Year's Eve and are sort of subtitles to the theme of the layout there. So I am going to put that away and then work on some other elements that I want to incorporate into this layout. So this layout is very busy for me. There's a lot of color in it. I usually reduce my color palette down to a little less, fewer colors for sure. But I really loved that card, and that is what this whole layout is based on, is that white card with the banners going across it. So trying to find ways to incorporate these labels. I really like the labels. At some point I want to do a layout that uses all of the labels on the layout, maybe like a currently layout. You've seen me do those before with my Elle Studio goodies. But maybe a year-end layout might be fun with those labels. Getting the creative juices are flowing now as I'm speaking to that. So this is where I referenced earlier that, there is a metal die that coordinates with this. However, I am just going to use my scissors and cut that out. So again, that photo is not going to be the exact photo that I use, and there will be journaling in that white card that is there. If I want to put a little bit more, I can always, there's tons of white space on this, and I can always incorporate that into the white space. So again, I'm going to pull out these asterisk, puffy asterisk stickers and just incorporate a little bit down into the bottom there. I am also going to, that phrase that I've got, it's going to be a good year, that I've got underneath hello right now, underneath 22. I am going to move to that bottom cluster. Again, I felt like I needed just a little bit more depth and contrast in that bottom right-hand cluster there. So this is the heart die from the kit that I'm popping up. I've already popped up a few elements, and so I want to make sure that I get a balance of raised elements in there. The center of the 0 in 2021, I am going to go back in and just put the black inside of the circle in there, because I don't have another heart and I didn't want to use the star. I didn't feel that that red worked with the photo, and so I'm going to try and actually reproduce that photo as I know my son will not be here. So that wraps it up. This is the final layout, and the close-ups are to come. If you have any questions about anything I've done in the process video or the kit or subscribing, please don't hesitate to leave them in the box down below. Enjoy the close-ups and enjoy this small little break from Christmas, because I feel like everything I have done lately is Christmas. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Come back again soon. Take care.